Hi everybody, happy holidays and happy new year. My name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, December 27th, and this is the search news we covered over the past week. Wasn't that busy, but there definitely was some chatter around the Google Christmas update, believe it or not. We had some discussion around EAT for e-commerce sites, some Google local tests and tweaks and changes. Matt Cutts, I released a vlog this week, really good, you should check it out. Got a lot of views, got a lot of likes, and of course, Happy New Year's to everyone. So first up, like I said, there was definitely some chatter around the Google Christmas search algorithm update. The chatter probably started a day or so before Christmas and so forth. I just don't think there was an update. There's definitely people who are noticing an update. One is logic tells me that, hey, Googlers are not really working this week pushing updates because they don't want to go ahead and fix any issues that may arise around these updates. Two, there's less traffic in general around Christmas time. People have their feet up, drinking coffee on the couch, not necessarily doing many searches in Google this week. Also, the algorithm tracking tools don't really show that many changes. There's definitely is chatter, but the tracking tools are not showing that many changes. And in general, the algorithm itself probably just updates itself. I mean, there's machine learning involved, there's AI, there's sites coming in and out all the time of the index. So things are definitely changing all the time. But there definitely was a lot of chatter in specifically the Black Hat forums, which is interesting. But again, I don't think Google specifically pushed anything because the tracking tools aren't really showing it. But there is definitely chatter there, again, specifically in the Black Hat forums mostly, which is interesting to me. So if you definitely take a look at your rankings, I wouldn't necessarily take a look at your traffic because it is what it is. In my opinion, you probably should wait till the week after New Year's and just forget the past 2 or 3 weeks and see what's going on with your site. Because again, things going on this holiday season, like every holiday season, is always askew and you don't want to necessarily take a look at that. Google has not yet fixed that Google Analytics bug from December 16th. Remember on December 17th, we reported there was Google update possibly, and maybe that Google update was related to people just crying about a Google Analytics bug, but there may have also been a Google update masked by this Google Analytics bug. And now Google's telling us we revised their estimates and it will probably take about 2 to 3 weeks or so or more for Google to fix that December 16th Google Analytics bug. So stay tuned on that. Google's still working on a fix. John Mueller did a hangout this morning. Yes, right before New Year's, right after Christmas. And John Mueller basically said a bunch of interesting things. But one thing that stood out to me was that John Mueller said, basically, EAT is focused more on where, and he said, quote, the type of information is critical for the user is where EAT is used. And he specifically said this is related to the quality raters guidelines, and quality raters don't influence directly the search results, but they're instructed to look and rate on an EAT level, expertise, authoritative, and trustworthiness, certain types of websites. And e-commerce sites, he said, are not that. He said, let me just read it to you. I don't know specifically about EAT for e-commerce, he said. EAT is something that we have in our quality raters guidelines and is more focused on kinds of websites where the type of information is critical for the users, where they really need to focus on that they get the right information there. He said, so it's probably less the case for e-commerce websites than for, I guess, putting words in his mouth, YMYL and so forth. So e-commerce sites probably do not need to worry as much about EAT than a medical website or a financial website is what he's saying. And again, he's also saying that it's not an algorithmic thing, it's more of a thing on the quality raters guide side and so forth. But again, interesting little point there to note. Google, a lot of this week, I don't know what's going on, but a lot of people are talking about the Google Cloud API and the Salience score, and doesn't matter for SEO. So in the Google Cloud API docs, there's something called Salience score, and Salience score is basically this little number here, and you can actually put whatever number you want in there, or Google could return whatever number it thinks is the Salience score. Basically, the definition of it is basically that a thing, entity, whatever, is particularly noticeable or important or prominent. And Google, and people are asking, well, now I want to go ahead and optimize for my Salience score in SEO in Google, and that's not how it works. It's completely unrelated. There is no real Salience score used by Google as far as I know. Of course, you want to make sure your site is not notable and prominent and so forth, but I wouldn't bog down on like looking at the Google Cloud API docs and trying to figure out what your Salience score is. Over the past couple weeks, Google Search Console has been sending out numerous uncommon download notices to webmasters. And people are asking, what do I do? How do I fix this? And a lot of people say there are no instructions on where to find this issue on your website. So John Mueller's like, yeah, you're right. What you should technically do is just submit a reconsideration request and ignore it. If Google gets back to you with more information, yay, go ahead and take action with the more information you get. Otherwise, ignore it. If Google does not respond to you, then generally you should be fine, and don't worry about it. It should go away by itself. Google's Discover is now showing Cameos by Google, or on Google. And like we discussed last week, Google Cameos is really rolling out to more people, and I have it. And what Glenn Gabe noticed was on his Discover feed, you can see over here, on his Discover feed, this is Glenn Gabe's Discover feed over here, is one of my Google Cameos. And he's like, oh, wow, Google's showing Cameos in my Google Discover feed. Obviously, Glenn and I follow each other, and he shares a lot of stuff that I write about. I share a lot of stuff that he writes about. It's one big triangle link thing going on. Joke. In any event, Google knows that we follow each other and that he follows me, and then thus Google said, hey, we're going to show you a Google Cameo in your Google Discover feed about Barry Schwartz, which is pretty cool. Google's new Publisher Center, which is for Google News publishers, seems to have an ad section with the web crawl bug, with a web crawl feature. So if you go add a feed and you collect using the web crawl feature, it's going to have a problem according to many, many publishers. I'm not sure if Google fixed this yet, but it's been an ongoing problem for a couple weeks now, as far as I know. The Google Local Pack seems to be testing tile-like buttons. So you can see over here, these are the tile-like buttons here. This is shared to me by Vincent. And you can see these buttons here, details, websites, call, directions, et cetera, with images as well. And these are instead of actually the content, which is interesting. And I'm not sure why Google's doing this. It kind of looks like a bug to me, but it must be a test. Google Local Pack is testing blue star icons. It looks like these are like top-rated icons, not necessarily ad-related, but just like top-rated icons. You can see here's a screenshot, and it shows you these little blue star icons. And I think this means these are top-rated in Google Local by Google reviewers. Google is also testing a browse by photo in the local panel. Again, Google's really pushing photos, and media in search in general and around local as well. And here is the browse by photos option in the Google Local Pack. Another Google Local thing is that when you add photos to Google My Business now, it seems, for some people at least, that it's automatically creating Google posts for your business. The problem with that is people are saying when it creates these posts, you're unable to delete the posts that are automatically being created using Google My Business photos. So this person said here, photos uploaded to Google My Business were automatically made into posts that cannot be deleted. Shows on desktop and mobile. Has anyone seen this before? And the answer is yes. There's a whole slew of complaints in the Google My Business help forum about this, and doesn't seem like there's any way to delete those posts. It is a feature, not a bug, and hopefully Google will go ahead and add another feature to let you delete it. Starting January 1st, the Google Ads social media team will no longer respond to direct messages and direct questions for help. They'll only respond in the direct feed, but direct messages and comments will not be actionable as of January 1st. It says right here, basically Google wrote direct messages and comments will not be actioned starting January 1st, 2020. So it looks like you can no longer get help from Google Ads starting in social media starting then. John Mueller posted a fun video in his Ask Google Webmasters hashtag, and basically around 301s versus 302s. He punched like several different questions, as well as the secret to ranking well in Google, and which is his secret is make your site awesome. In any event, it's a fun video, good thing to watch over the holiday season. And of course, over the holiday season, John Mueller, again, this is over a decade, I think it's 13 or 14 years in a row, John Mueller is providing Webmaster support again on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. He's done this ever since 2000. I think he started his job in 2006 or 7. And you can see here's his post on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. Thank you, John, for everything you do. The Webmaster community and SEO community deeply appreciate you. And speaking of somebody who the SEO community loves, Matt Cutts. Matt Cutts is obviously not with Google. He hasn't been there officially since the end of 2016. He went on a leave of absence in 2014. He's not really involved with Google on a day-to-day basis anymore, etc. But he is somebody who shaped the Google search in general and the SEO community and the Webmaster community and our community in general for many, many years. And I sat down with him at his new job at the U.S. Digital Services team. He's the administrator there, pretty much running that team. And I sat down with him there a couple weeks ago near the White House in Washington, D.C., right across in the Eisenhower executive offices. And we sat and talked for about 40 minutes about his Google years and about how SEOs and SEMs can make a difference at the USDS. Definitely, if you want to take a trip down memory lane, definitely watch the video. It was a real honor and privilege to sit down with Matt. He's a really wonderful person. He's done so much, not just for Google, not just for the SEO and SEM community, but now for the government and for the U.S. citizens in general. Any event, really appreciate him sitting down with me. And I'm wishing everybody here a happy and healthy holiday, successful New Year's, and everyone speak to you guys next week. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we cover over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Again, today is Friday, December 27th. BBO.